All right, so let me repeat that. So for goal setting, I already kind of started I don't really do like New Year's resolutions. I actually set more intentions. So you start with like the bigger picture. Like pick your categories that are important to you. So obviously, like family is going to be a big one for people. Like relationship with your partner, like your business, beach body, or like your fitness, your health. Um, Spirituality, if that's something that like God, beliefs, like personal development, service, what kind of service you're going to be like giving to the world, if you're someone who invests time or money or energy into like giving back. Fun can be a category. So you want to start with like your big picture categories, and then you can have like an overall, like, this is what I see, this is like the vision that I have for that category. But then you have to start breaking down those, like you have to start breaking those down like month by month and week by week and day by day. Because if you just have this like big picture goal, like for example, with the sisterhood community that I opened, I was like, I want to do this online community, like a free community for women where I bring them together and like I have content for them and it's a place for us to like share space. And I put that like as a goal forever, for months, and I never did it because I didn't break it down into those smaller little attainable things that I could do every week. And then when I enlisted my success partner, literally week by week, it was like the first week I was like, I need to open up the group and I need to like find content to post in the group. That was like week 1. Week 2 was like, okay, now I need to like schedule that content in the group and I need to like get the image in the group. And then week 3 was like, I need to start posting about it and sharing and doing like polls and getting people. And now I'm like inviting. Now I'm inviting. Now like inviting is going to go on forever, and just keeping that content rolling and engaging in that group and asking questions. So like if you just have the big picture goal and you just keep that on your list, you'll never do it because it's just so overwhelming, because it's like, how am I ever going to get that done? But you have to break it down into smaller, simple steps that you can do every day. So we're going to talk about that today. So grab like your paper, and if you're struggling with, you have this big, huge goal that you want for the end of the year for your business or a relationship or whatever, and you're struggling with how to break it down into smaller steps, let's talk about it and we'll discuss it and we'll break it down into smaller steps together. But before we do that, I thought this was really a cool, like inspiring thing that I was listening to. I'm still listening to Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And I listened to it on the way home from my workout in the morning, and it just fires me up. And I understand why people like Lindsay Matway, I know when she spoke at Coach Summit, she said that she has to listen to like so much personal development to even be able to speak. It's because like to speak there and to all the leaders. I feel like when you listen to that personal development and you're like immerse yourself in it, listening to all like Simon Sinek, I just think is like super inspiring. Just the way he approaches like his books and how he talks about starting with why. It's all about starting with the why, not the what or the how, but the why. When you immerse yourself in that, then you feel that energy and you take on that energy, and then that's what allows you to pour back into other people. So I highly recommend, if you're sitting down to do like your power hour, or you're sitting down to talk to people, like fire yourself up with 10 minutes of personal development, or 5. Audible is my best friend. I mean, you can listen because it's audiobooks. I mean, you can listen to it on any device or whatever app you like that works for you. Like I know Jana said iTunes, but like I just use Audible because it's like the Amazon one, and I get them and I listen to them in my car when I'm driving. But you literally could like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start doing my invites, or I'm going to start doing whatever. Like fire yourself up with like just 5 minutes of personal development, because that energy is what's going to carry over into what you're pouring into other people, versus coming in to sit down to do your power hour and you're like, damn, I haven't enrolled anyone this month and people are leaving me, my coaches are quitting, my clients aren't doing it. And then you're like in this negative energy, then you're just going to attract more negative energy. So like fire yourself up. And that's what I feel has helped me with these calls, other than obviously last week I was like in a different headspace. So I'm just going to go real quick. It's going to take like a minute to talk about, and then we'll open up the floor for anyone that has questions or shares, and then we'll go into the goal setting. So this morning, as I was driving back from the gym, I was listening to Start With Why, and it's still on like the very beginning of it. And we talked a couple weeks ago about the Wright brothers and how they were the first set of people to fly a plane, and how they weren't fully equipped for that to happen. Like there was another guy, I can't remember his name, that was competing with them to be the first person to fly a plane. But they actually they had like less equipment, less money, you know, not as good of a team and all the things, but they succeeded because they inspired their people by their vision to want to be the first group to have that plane take off. And that's why it was successful, because they inspired people. And so the Wright brothers, obviously you all know Apple. I mean, most of us are using Macs and iPhones and iPods and all that stuff. And Martin Luther King, the difference between those three and other people is that they inspire people to take action. So this is how we need to be as coaches. So think about it when you're posting on your pages and you're doing your social media and you're talking to people and you're having those conversations. Are you inspiring them to take action? Because that's our job. And if you're not inspiring them to take action, that doesn't necessarily mean you're inspiring them to buy from you. You're just inspiring them to take action, to take better care of themselves, to make a healthier meal, to get off the couch and get moving. And if we're not doing that with our posts and our shares, then we're not doing our jobs as coaches. I know for a fact that there are coaches in the network that will sign up new coaches, and their new coach can't even get on a call with them until they hit Success Club. They have to hit Success Club, I don't know if it's 2 or 5 or whatever, to be able to have a one-on-one call with their sponsor. I don't believe in that policy, but hey, it works for them. I don't know that it would work for me, because I don't know that I feel that that's like the right thing for me to do. But they have, those coaches, those leaders have inspired these new coaches on their team so much to want to be a part of their world that they will do whatever it takes to be a part of their world. So they are great leaders because they're inspiring those people to act. And they're giving people a sense of purpose and belonging. So when they join their team, they're inspired to act because they feel like, I want to do this for the team, not just for myself, but for the team. And they don't inspire people to act because of prizes or external factors. They're not like, oh, you're going to win this from me. It's like, no, you're just going to be able to be a part of my world. So those who lead create leaders who act not because they are swayed, but because they feel inspired. The motivation to act is personal. They take that on themselves. They'll pay a premium, they'll endure inconvenience, and they'll even endure some suffering for them to be able to accomplish whatever it is that the leader is inspiring them to accomplish. They'll act for the good of the group, not because they have to, but because they want to. Leaders have influence. They have loyal customers, employees, and coaches. They think, act, and communicate alike, and it is the opposite of the way the rest of the world acts. So if we can learn to act and communicate like those who inspire by listening to these books and doing the personal development and getting into that, like getting that dialogue going in our heads of how do they talk and what are they saying and how are they inspiring me, and I need to turn around and do that for my people, then we could be those leaders. And every single one of us has it in us to be those. So here's a fun fact. Over 80% of Americans do not have their dream job. And if more people knew how to build organizations that inspired not only them, but the people that were a part of those organizations, we could live in a world in which that statistic would be reversed. Having 80% of people who love their jobs will have people that like what they do. They're going to be more productive. They're going to be more creative. They're going to have
a huge impact. I actually am slowly having app members switch over to me as their coach.
How long was I gone? What part did you shit. I was just like talking and talking and talking. Can you guys hear me?
But like I share in that group, you know, what I'm doing, and people post like that, and private groups as well as the app authentically. That's like,
sure.
Like a member of yours through, you know, buying clothing. It's obviously fitness. Like it'll authentic. I mean, if you're like, no, I didn't take your advice, that's